Hello, I'm Renata Avano. I'm here today for the second lesson of our mini course on printed flexible prostheses. And today we're going to talk about how to send these files, how to receive and evaluate these STL, PLI, or DCM files, and of course, we'll talk about the CAD project. Sending your files. The dentist who just performed the scan will evaluate how these scans turned out, how the meshes look, whether they're in STL, DCM, or PLI format. He will assess the quality of these triangles, these files, and will send them either through the intraoral scanner platform or via file transfer services like Google Drive, WeTransfer, or Dropbox, ensuring that these files arrive intact to your CAD designer, your draftsman, who will also receive and evaluate the condition of these STLs. As soon as you send your STLs, we here at the lab usually evaluate the alignment of the upper and lower arches and, of course, whether there is any occlusal record. Once these files have been accepted and are ready to be designed, we will begin the planning process. What is the best type of clasp? What is the best extension or overextension for this work, for this project? I always recommend for these cases, for the project, that the body or the part where the main connector will be should always be at least 2 millimeters thick. This will prevent any kind of deformation, any risk of breakage or fracture during use. Remember that flexible resins are less brittle than conventional printed resin, but they can still undergo stress from opening and closing, right? So that's why we work with slightly thicker dimensions, let's say, to ensure the longevity of your project. One of the main indications for this type of work is for transitional cases, right? I always like my clients who undergo, for example, implant surgery when an implant is placed. If they are not able to do immediate loading, we do recommend the use of a flexible prosthesis. And this flexible prosthesis must follow two main rules. The first one, never apply or transmit forces to the installed implants. And the second, it needs to be very well adapted in the other areas where there is no implant to ensure proper seating and stability. Just because they are transitional or provisional prostheses, that doesn't mean they can receive just any kind of treatment. On the contrary, planning is essential. Knowing the retention areas, support areas, or primary bearing areas is fundamental. I recommend that you understand not only dental anatomy, but also the anatomy of the edentulous areas where these files or this prosthesis will be primarily seated. Another very important point in the CAD project is the gingival sculpting. How are you going to do it? How will you finish this gingival sculpting in a way that looks nice, of course, but also doesn't bother the patient? Since we have prostheses that will have a bit more volume, at least 2 millimeters thick, this may bother the patient at first. We always recommend smooth edges, a very delicate and well-defined design so that the patient can use this prosthesis, even if only temporarily,